no.
All right, with the silliness aside, we'll go ahead and get the meeting started. So if I can have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, on to public forum. Just want to know you're on the agenda here tonight, so we'll call you up here in a minute. So on to the approval of tonight's agenda. Any questions? I see that there is one change. If you have the printout in front of you, item 4.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the change.
All right, I have a motion to approve with the change. Second. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, on to the consent agenda. This is just the only item on here is approval of the minutes from April 5th, 19th, and 26th. Any questions? Hearing none, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
There we go, Michael. Got a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, all right. Then that brings us up to item 3 on the agenda here. Crystal, go ahead. Have yourself come up to the mic.
Okay, guys, the reason that I'm coming here tonight is because there's been an ongoing issue with excessive speed on State Street South from the intersection of 55 where it heads out of town. So much of a concern that last year I purchased a $150 radar speed gun that was pre-calibrated, and I sat hours in front of my house. And it continues throughout the course of the day, but it is, I would say, amplified between the hours of about 6:30 to 7 in the morning until a little around after 8:30, when everybody's in a rush to get to work, and when there are kids out trying to get across streets. And then, of course, it carries throughout the day, picks up again, of course, after school, between after school hours to probably about 5 or 6 o'clock. And as I've been going around to different communities for what I do for work, I've noticed that there are municipalities smaller than ours that have radar speed signs. And I had mentioned before, last year, I kind of briefly mentioned to Cindy it was a concern. I think that it would be beneficial because there is an increased amount of traffic of children that are traveling on that road along to get down to the park that we've invested quite a bit of time into. And I think that, I mean, granted, Officer Borscheid does a great job of his job, but it is not effective when he is not sitting there. So, I mean, he's sitting there, you see him from 4 blocks from the heading, you see him coming down the hill. So I don't know of anybody that purposely will continue to speed if they see a cop pulled off to the side of the road. I know I don't. So my concerns would just be that maybe we should consider putting in a crosswalk somewhere in the middle of that range between 55 and Frericks, because of the fact that I've seen kids standing there, not only trying to get across, waiting for the bus in the morning, but just standing there waiting because there's constant traffic so they can get across the street, because sometimes they cut to the back and then into the back part of the park. So the other thing, other than just regular traffic, there is an excessive level of commercial vehicles, which I know that the milk trucks need to go through, but that is a lot more weight and a lot longer stopping distance if something should happen. There's a lot more people with smaller children that are in that neighborhood and on that section of highway from 55, well, yeah, from 55 to Frericks Avenue. And it seems to have gotten progressively worse since 2020. In the 17 years that I've been there, it's probably the worst in the last like 2 years. I did some research as far as radar speed signs. They have the signs similar in Painesville, Albany, Freeport, St. Rosa, and Gray Eagle. And 3 of those communities have a substantial amount less people than we do in Eden Valley. I know it, and as far as I know I had printed something off and dropped it off to Cindy, but I don't know if everybody got a copy or not. But, I mean, it's a pretty substantial difference in speeds that people are going and what the survival rate if somebody is going to make it through getting hit by a vehicle. So I would like to see if there's any possibility that we would be able to work on something to place one of the electronic speed signs between the last 30-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, which is located 2 houses to the north of where where my house is located, between there and the 60-mile-an-hour speed zone, because there are many, many times that as soon as people, I mean, they're probably doing 40 by the time they hit the 30, that's by my house, and as soon as they hit that, it's foot to the floor, and they're doing 60 by the time they're, not even halfway distance to the sign. And once again, it comes into the factor that there's kids from the other side of town also now trying to get over to the park. So I would just like to see if we could do something regarding both ways. So people, maybe if it's flashing, they realize, hey, I'm not paying attention, I need to maybe slow down. And the same thing going out of town. Just, I guess that would be about it.
Sure. So, we actually talked about this last year too, when you brought it to the city's attention last year, and we did look into it a little bit. And if you notice, we've got a mobile sign that we have, that we unfortunately, we got, it's on a trailer. It's not affixed to anything, so we can move it around to different areas. And we've seen some success where when it's posted there, that happen. The question I have for you is that when you see that, you've mentioned a lot, like people leaving town, they shotgun it, basically shotgun it right from the stop sign heading out of town. Do you see that happening where they just don't slow down coming into town too? I'm trying to get, like, if it's like both ways or not.
Pretty much the same thing coming into town, especially semis. There are many instances with that. They do not even start to stop, like slow down, until they hit the 30-mile-an-hour speed sign at the edge of town, in which then they flip their compression brakes on, and then they compression brake from there, sometimes all the way down to 55. So I attempted to get a petition, like people that have experienced this in the neighborhood, but I haven't had time. But it's both ways. As far as the concern, I mean, if there's kids further down in between, say we do 50-50 between Frericks and 55, they're still exceeding 30 miles an hour through that range. It's worse going out, but it's equally as bad coming in. So, and I mean, I think that they would be efficient. I mean, like I said, in my travels, St. Rosa has a population of 56 people, and they have 2 of them coming in, and Gray Eagle's 296, and they have 4 of them along the road that I had to go to get there along the lake, and that only has people living on one side of the road the whole distance. So, and Freeport, that's 688 people, and they have them coming in both directions. So that way people know that they're coming into town, you need to slow down. It just seems that it would be more effective instead of just the sign that people see and seem to blatantly ignore. If there's something that is there, similar to like what they have near the elementary school, but I know some of them, like the one that's the toe behind one, flash, slow down, because, it's like, it's right there, it's telling you that it's not quite 60 yet, so maybe you shouldn't be doing 45, 50 in a 30.
Trying to think my other question here. I think I just lost my train of thought. when you do see that sign that, you know, because since you live in there, when you see the sign, you know, we have that mobile speed sign out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see an improvement on that quite a bit?
When he was parked down there earlier, it was great.
Yeah.
But when nobody is sitting there in with that sign, I would say some things it slows down a little, but for the majority, it kind of, no officer, no let off on the gas pedal. It just,
Even with the speed sign there, they're just ignoring the speed sign.
but the one that is coming in, of course, I mean, the worst of it is going out. I mean, if we could face it this way, so that people can see that they're doing that fast going out of town, it's probably more so a problem of the people heading out than the people coming in, because they're prepared. They're like, okay, I suppose I gotta be slowing down. So, and I mean, inevitably, it varies depending on, you have some of the older people that will slow down, and then you have other people that just kind of disregard it if nobody's around to, I mean, I'm not saying, I don't think that there should be an increase in writing tickets or anything like that. I mean, I just think that some people could benefit from a warning that they're in an area that there are small children, the people that right across from me, but that live kind of kitty corner from me, they have small children, and sometimes they play out in the front. There's people further down, it's just, I feel like it's a matter of time that if it continues, that something is going to end up happening besides a cat or a dog or a squirrel getting run over. So.
Sure. And then you were talking about like milk trucks coming into town and using their compression brake or Jake brake to slow down. They're not actually supposed to be doing that in city limits.
No.
If you happen to get like the name on the truck, give Evan a call. We've called those companies in the past just to remind them that, hey, you're not supposed to do that. You used to have that issue coming into town down the hill.
Oh, the big hill, yeah. I think that maybe in that instance, something that says no compression braking would be it seems like they figured that vehicle noise ordinance enforced doesn't apply to no compression braking. So, I mean, the sign, honestly, it hasn't done nothing. I wished it would, especially when my things in my house vibrate when they go by, but so if you want, I can leave another copy, or unless Cindy gave you.
We actually got electronic versions of it. Cindy scanned it in for us and included it in our.
Okay. Well, I know that they range in price, but I think that if we could somehow find a way to get two in there, and I know they need to fix the one out by the school still, if that's still broken, it seems to make a difference. I mean, I suppose that this is an ancient survey and thing that they did, but I'm pretty sure that it's probably similar still, so.
Did we ever talk to NDOT, since that is a state highway, about putting a sign up?
A permanent one?
Yeah.
I haven't.
No? Okay. Yeah, since it's a state highway, if it was like a side street, total city purview of, regulating the traffic that's on that. But since it is a state highway, we do have to coordinate, things like extra signs, like in a speed sign, we'd have to coordinate that with MnDOT, make sure that they have appropriate location, access to power, if it's gonna be powered, if it's not gonna be solar powered, things like that. So, I think we've talked about it before.
It kind of goes back to why we put that one on wheels, so we can move it, and then you don't have to have a permit to have it on their section of road either.
Yeah.
I know the ones I priced out, the solar powered ones are right around $3,500 a piece. So.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No.
And luckily enough, we were able to, we have one. I don't know, Evan, since you're kind of managing that, you think it would be worthwhile to flip that around and maybe put it by that 30-mile-an-hour sign close to her house for a few days and see?
We can certainly give it a shot.
Yeah. We've got the sign, might as well try it.
Yeah, and try halfway, even maybe in front of Tina Hemish's, because that's about halfway between the 30 and the 60, and that, it seems like I said, as soon as they're past that 30, if it's not already exceeding 30, it's.
The only thing is we got to actually post it next to an actual speed sign. because it doesn't have a speed sign on it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's gotta be, you know, it's gotta be in, right next to it.
We'll just flip it around, there's an asphalt patch right by Frederick's Drive,
Yeah,
and we'll just flip it around, and we'll put it there facing north. Because it'll catch them coming off 55 then, it might even catch them coming down by the Valley Inn across the tracks, but it'll hit them coming down the whole stretch.
there you go. And we can give that a try for a few days. I mean, it's not a permanent solution, but we can at least get some, maybe get some, you know, see if it helps, see if it improves anything, and then we can look at next steps from there.
All right, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
I've got a question for Zach regarding that.
Yeah.
Our speed sensor sign, does that have the capability of tracking?
Yes, I
Like you
think
can,
it
you
does.
can actually see, if you set it out for 2 days or whatever, you can, does it pick up like 0 to 30, or is it just a sign?
We haven't played with that feature of it yet, and I don't know if the software is there. I don't think this one does.
Okay.
You can buy other ones, so they make these black boxes that have radars going both ways, and you just temporarily put it up for a week, and that will catch it. Nobody knows it's there, and it's covert, and that catches everybody's speeds, and you just set it to a certain distance, and that's when you catch the speeds that, you know, people are going in that certain range. That will do exactly, you get a nice printout on everything. Those are super nice. I can call State Patrol. I asked them last year to do it, and the trooper that had it could never get to it, but let me run it by him again, and let's see if we can maybe use theirs, because they'll put it out for a week or two before the battery dies, and I can have them do that instead. If that
I know there's some municipalities that actually have them on their solar panel ones. And I knew we ran into this in the town that we worked in, because I do road work, and I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of signs out there flashing, slow down, slow down. We get more people that it's almost a joke. And the only reprieve that we get is if we have an officer actually pulling people over. That's what gets them to slow down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of like that scenario, but we worked in one town where we were having problems with them just flying by, and they had one of these signs up, and they actually pulled it and then downloaded the information, and it breaks it right down. And I mean, I think that one, it was a 30-mile-an-hour zone, and it topped out at like 60. And there was numerous occasions when it was 60. So they were actually over it, but that's what it read. So that's why I was just asking if we had that capability.
Yeah, I'm not certain. Well, when he trained me in on it last week, yeah, and when we were going through the menus, it's not a very complex sign. Yeah, and it's already, it's from 2017, so.
It's probably just a generic, just
Yeah.
slow down.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, and on to item 4. This would be ordinance 2023-17. This will be an interim ordinance establishing a moratorium on modular manufactured prefabricated and other homes moved in from a prior foundation.
I was chatting with our city attorney about another issue, and I just brought to that you had made a motion and passed it for a moratorium, and that was fine. She just wanted to see it in a little more formal so that it's not open to interpretation.
Yeah.
And this is, again, time, you know, it's free to look into it.
Yeah, no, this ordinance is multi-page, really thorough.
Yes. We talked about all the things that one could bring forward and say, but what about? And so she did, and then I will publish it. It'll go in the paper next week.
Was this an example that you found somewhere, or?
You know, we had a moratorium for the cannabis
Yep.
interim ordinance, and so I was gonna take that and rewrite it, and halfway through, I thought, this is crazy. Why am I doing this? So, no, she had this to me in a half an hour, so they probably had this from another city.
I will happily make that motion for ordinance 2023-17, interim moratorium on brought-in homes.
All right, I have a motion to approve the ordinance.
Second.
You'd be third.
Go ahead.
You can be third. You can give the mic.
Whoever Cindy gives it to.
All right. Cindy's choice. All right, I have a second. All in favor? Aye. There we go. All right, liquor license for Valley Inn on sale Sunday and 2 AM licensing.
So we have a person who has purchased, or is purchasing the Valley Inn. I don't believe he's closed on it. Will close. Once he gets his liquor license all in place, he'll close on it. And they can't, and a license stays with the owner. It doesn't, he can't just use theirs. He has to have his own.
If I remember right, this is a license that the Valley Inn is already currently operating under,
Correct.
right? So
Yep, they
nothing-
have.
Nothing expanded, nothing.
No, he hasn't made any change to it, so.
All right, and proof of, I suppose he can't have proof of insurance because he doesn't have, doesn't own the building yet. or
Yes,
does he actually?
the state requires him to have a certificate of liability. They won't issue
They
a
won't have it
license.
until he owns the building, or owns the building.
No, he has insurance on
Oh,
it.
he has it
Yeah.
already? Oh,
Yep,
okay.
it's really all effective June 1st for
Okay.
him. And the license is June 1st.
Yeah, if you scroll down further on it, it says the company name is Foundation. Also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very well. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the liquor license application for Valley Inn for on-sale Sunday and 2 AM liquor sales. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, on to the bills. Any questions on the bills this evening? I hear Michael wants to make a motion.
I move to approve the bills.
A motion to approve the bills?
I'll second.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to see how you're gonna word that one. in.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, it is.
Your
No,
motion was.
he's talking about his
fine.
preemptive,
Yeah.
Suggesting.
his suggestion of you.
Oh, she's gonna, okay.
Mayor suggested.
We will not put that in there.
All right, on to, let's see, okay, on to the additional holiday. So we got since the state of Minnesota decided to create create another holiday, June 19th.
It's really it's already a federal holiday.
Already a federal.
They passed that. Minnesota said they weren't going to adopt it until 2024, so I didn't bring it to you. Now the legislature that's in there now is saying, why are we waiting till 2024? Let's do it for this year. So I contacted our union person to get it for changing the contract, and it's also in our personnel policy as well.
Now, on the union contract, now, is that gonna have to come, we're gonna have to, well,
You have it right here. You have the memorandum of understanding.
okay, all right. So
Yeah.
So everything we need is already here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Really, you know, it's not that it's a moot point and you can't, but it's gonna become a holiday, and at that point, we can't conduct city business, so, obviously, you know, we still can provide police service and if that, and they can do their on-call, but beyond that, you know, we can't have meetings, City Hall can't be open.
I just wanna make sure all the Ts are
Yep,
crossed, all the
yep.
Is are dotted, you know.
Yeah, we'll send it to, we'll get, if you approve it, we'll get signatures here, I'll send it, and then the union reps will sign it and get it back.
All right. Any questions from council? All right. Who would like to do the motion on that one? I assume we need a motion to approve. Any other takers?
I make a motion, and Michael makes the motion. I'll make a motion to accept, to approve the June 19th holiday.
All right, I have a motion to approve. I will go ahead and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, on to departments. Cindy.
You should have in front of you your monthly financial report. And that's not in your packet, it should have been laying on your account desk. So currently, we have 3,977,263.94.
Nice balance.
It is, and of course, we know, taxes come in June and July, and then the bond payments go out in August, so, there's that. No, we're doing well, so. Trying to keep spending, we'll see. We'll see after this quarter.
I know that's how she looked.
I didn't look at you. Well, you never know. Yeah, no, spending's been good, so,
Here we go. Here we go.
yeah.
All right, any questions on the financial report?
I have, Friday, City Hall will be closed, I have an all-day meeting, and Sarah's not working, so it will be closed.
Sounds good. Anything else?
Just a reminder about evaluations. So May is your evaluation month, where our hope is to get them done by the end of May.
Sounds good. That smirk you got, Troy. No, that has me worried a little bit.
That's it for me.
All right. All right, anybody got anything for Cindy? Okay. All right, Zach. How big's the check gotta be?
I just got a couple things. We had a crack sealing guy in yesterday, and he did a great job doing that. So we had to go with a little different company this year. The other guys are no longer doing it. So I went with the guys from Dassel or Camco. So, and then at the water plant, they're doing that little brick replacement down there. So busy down there as well. Irrigators are up and running. Nothing major going on there for repairs at the moment, so that's great. And then the lawn mowing, we closed that on Friday, and we only got one applicant. So we probably need a motion to hire that gentleman on. That's Porter Keekley. He's in high school at the moment, so he can't start till May 25th, so Mark and I will be in the mower periodically till then, so.
I assume you've talked to him, and
Yeah.
even though he was the only candidate, you're.
Well, yeah, he's a great candidate. He's a farm kid, so he'll do well, so.
All right. Cool.
And really, and just, you can, when you talk to them, but he has the authority to hire. This is the one position that your department head has the authority to hire as his seasonal person.
So I don't need a motion?
You don't have to have a motion, you're really just presenting it. It is
Okay.
that seasonal position is one.
Perfect. And then, last on my list, we met tonight before this meeting and about the, new park shelters, and we put some flags in the ground, so we'll continue the, process on that.
Tentative ETA on when
Uh,
will start?
we gotta get a builder locked down, so that's kind of the next step.
Through all those details.
Yeah, yep, so,
Not gonna, is those buildings gonna be put on a concrete pad and everything?
yep. And then electric ran to them too, so
When is your hope that they'll be done?
I'm hoping by this fall. Yeah, I don't think it'll be before Music in the Park, because that's, the first one is June, like the first Thursday in June, so that's pretty tight, so.
Yeah, if we have any Boy Scouts that wanna do picnic tables for down there for those?
That was a little talk tonight, yep, about what we're gonna put underneath them, and we don't have nothing lined up yet, so if somebody's looking for a project, that'd be great.
It might be, I guess I would probably need to know how many tables you are looking for.
Sure. Yeah,
How big are the structures gonna be?
they're gonna be 20 by 24.
fairly decent size.
Yeah.
What size is the building now? Or is it a little bit smaller than the building that we have out there now?
The whole building, or what do you?
What size is this, the inside area of that building?
I think it's kind of an L, but it's a little bit bigger than that, yeah, so. Yeah, we'll keep in touch on it.
Yeah, I'm sure it could hold 4 of the ones that were built before by the,
Yeah,
because those are big tables. Those
Yeah.
are good sized tables.
I think it's
Yeah.
got a couple
Yeah.
handicap ones and a couple regular ones.
yep,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else here?
that's all I got.
One thing for you, McCarthy Avenue,
Yep,
you get towards the west end, it's really potholy.
okay. Have you been down it recently? They just graded on Monday.
Oh, no, I saw it on the weekend.
Okay, yep,
And he was saying something about the south side being soft across from, right next to Mike's driveway there.
okay.
So,
I can take a look, yep. McCarthy, yep. Perfect.
Anything for Zach? Okay. All right, Evan, what you got for us?
We'll start with the same old, stat sheet, 88 calls in April. And I got the history on the bottom there. I can't go back further than that in Zerker because we adopted Zerker in 2021. And while we did bring the records in, they're really goofy. It just didn't translate well from the old system to the new one. They're just super goofy, and I don't think they'd be very accurate. So I did the last couple years, and I think in the future, I'm just gonna put May down there, and you'll see 21, 22, and 23. And I'll just do each month and the previous history for that month, if that works. And then I have an Excel spreadsheet that I've started, so when I do every month, I'll take that number and put in the spreadsheet so we can access that whenever. And I won't have to relook for them. Pretty standard, I think. Having Hunter on, we're seeing an increase. Just basically through proactivity, traffic stops being a big one right now. I think that we're just gonna keep going up for the next several months. I talked to him today, I said we could probably expect calls to keep climbing until about September, October again, when they start going back down for the winter time. Don't wanna use the Q word, but it gets more quiet as fall and winter set in. I know, I'm jinxing myself. Any questions about that?
No, actually, no, this is good. I like being able to compare and contrast between years.
Mm-hmm.
kind of funny, as Crystal was in here last night, we were out walking and we were stopped and talked to somebody, and we were all kind of making the comment, we were standing there talking for a while. Traffic was going by, and like, you can tell that the two new guys, you know, they're both still relatively new, that they're making a difference because they were going fairly slow. I mean, speed limit through town. Now, once they got across the tracks and across the highway, I don't know. It might have been that time of night too, maybe they weren't as big of a hurry to.
Right. And Crystal did break the ice on this. I was gonna mention this. I've started writing a lot of tickets for speed. Spring is always horrible. Roads are dry, it's getting warm out, it's exciting. It's always horrible in the spring. I wrote a guy for 54 in the 30. Coming down, he was well into the 30 coming down the big hill on 22. I wrote a guy he was going faster than this, but I'm sitting there actually on 22 south of 55, exactly where she mentioned. He's going outbound. I'm sitting there, marked squad car, mind you, and he blew my doors off. Yeah, seriously, he blew my doors off. He went right by me. He noticed I was a cop. Well, because we don't have a light bar in that squad. It's awesome. So that's what people look for generally. He blew my doors off. Yeah, he got a ticket. I mean, yeah, it's just, they're starting to come out and we're seeing more of it. We're seeing them at all entrances to the city, essentially, where you go from a highway speed to a 30. It's a thing, it truly is. So I just want to let anybody listening know that we're starting to write tickets for that.
And I would appreciate if people would slow down, because those transitions are tough for both going out and coming in. Update, I don't like being on my phone during these meetings, but I was texting the trooper. I guess the assignment for that box has been changed to this guy. So I was texting him, and he's gonna come out at some point. I'm not gonna tell people when it is, but we're gonna get that set up. And we'll do one way for a week, and then we'll do the other way for a week. And that'll give us the printout that Troy mentioned. It's just something, it's a state highway, so it's a free service. He's just gonna come on, we'll get that thing set up. If that gives us some more data to make a decision on, you know, an expensive expenditure. So,
I definitely would like to see, you know, like what, you know, like, is it just a couple of cars a day? or-
right. And this black box is tiny. So it's not like it's a squad car or a big sign sitting out there, it's covert. And I might even move the speed sign away for a while, so we get some true stats on that. But we'll see, I'm not gonna tell people when it is, because I don't need anybody buzzing by there on purpose.
Do we have any leeway on like speed bumps? I know it's like a state
highway.
we don't-
Highway, they would
There's
not,
no,
yeah,
not
they
even a
won't.
chance, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know people hate speed bumps.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. It's not a bad idea.
Is on?
And I know that I think there's a side street, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, there's a speed bump somewhere over by, I think it's Church Street South or something, or there's a speed bump, but that's our city roads.
Yeah.
You know, so we have a little bit more power.
Yeah, just, you know, kind of, and I mentioned this to Crystal earlier, on our city streets, we have the ability to control and regulate the traffic on those streets. When it comes to state highways, and I think even county highways, you know, if we want to change how the traffic is regulated on those, we have to work with the corresponding agency to get that change put into place. And
Are you only planning on doing that little black box on 22?
It depends on how long I can loan it out for.
Curious to see what 55 looks like as well.
Oh, well, I can tell you from experience, 55 is gonna be the worst, hands down. And that's my honey spot, as I call it, honey well. Oh, all night. I mean, you could sit there and all night. But to be fair, every road coming into town, whether it's a county road or a state highway, it's bad. People don't like to slow down right at the sign. They like to, what I see is even when the sign out by the elementary school is operable, I'll sit almost maybe a block away from the high school, so well within the 30, and I'll still have people that go by that blinking red sign, and they'll still be doing 40, 45, I don't know, 4 or 5 blocks into town. Not to give away my other spot, but that's my other Honeywell. I mean, people.
Where that is.
I think about that too, as you look at it, when you're coming in, it's 30, it's a long 30. So when you see there's nothing really going on, I think people, you just kind of.
well, it's a nice long straight stretch too, you know? And
It
Whatever
is,
people's
but they
reasons are, I
all
hear them
walk
all, trust
across.
me. Yeah, I tell them it's out there because of a school.
you know what we need to do? We need to put roundabouts in every intersection.
I'd like to see one that goes higher than 30.
With the big Christmas tree in the middle, remember?
Just links at 30, you don't even get high mark anymore.
That's because of that.
We talked about that
yeah.
already, because then you
Yeah.
could put the big Christmas tree in.
No, you'd be amazed at the people. I'm serious. If you change that, people try to get high mark. I
They
joke
do?
about it, but
Yep.
it's serious.
No, they absolutely do, and that's, so when we go through the settings on the speed sign, we can choose all sorts of stuff. I mean, that thing goes up to 255 miles an hour, and we could set it to blink down from 255 miles an hour all the way down to 0, and it'll show your blinking speed the whole time. Yeah, we don't do that because of that.
I'm serious.
Because somebody will sit there, oh, I got it on Snapchat, you know?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and they'll be like, this is awesome. So, yeah, it's a speed reducer, not increaser, is the idea. And anything else about the speeds besides, I'll have the stats from that. I'm gonna meet them out there at some point, and I'll hopefully have that at the next meeting or prior to that. We'll run it by you.
Perfect.
I think you'll get some pretty good information on it.
I think so
The
too.
ones that I've seen, that what we've dealt with, they're phenomenal.
And if I can, I will move it. It just depends on his availability and how everything pans out. I wanted to make one quick note about the body cams. They've been running very well. They're awesome to have. And I bought a 4 terabyte external hard drive, and it's gonna take us, on my 1 month of looking at how everything is panning out, it's gonna take us a long time to fill that. So we're good for several years at the very least with how Hunter and I have been using them, so going well.
We just need to get a backup of your backup.
Something in the cloud would be nice, but well,
But you got a good start, you know,
Yeah.
having enough space where you can store your videos, that's, you know, that's huge.
yeah. That's it.
All right, anybody got anything for Evan? Okay, all right, then on to upcoming meetings. So May 17th, we will not have that meeting, but we will do that, we'll do at the next Planning Commission meeting, we will sit in with them and continue to work on our zoning ordinances, the changes that we need to make. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and adjourn.